caused stress for me and for my family as well. Because my mum and dad were both in care, everything they had went to the care bills. There wasn't anything left for the funeral for my dad. It was just panic mode, really.
The Funeral Expenses Payment, or FEP, from the DWP aims to help people on income-related benefits in England and Wales with funeral costs. But if the person who died lived with a partner, only that partner can apply for the FEP, regardless of family circumstances. It's just one of the ways the FEP's narrow eligibility rules are leaving thousands of people without crucial financial support in their time of grief. Sue's father, Dave, died in August 2024.
My dad's proper name was Reginald Brazier, but he hated Reg. And so we always used to go by his middle name, which was Dave. He was born in 1939, originally from Shropshire, so he's from a farming background. As the years progressed, he had his own garage as well, where he used to repair cars and redo cars. He was very good at that. Yeah, he's quite a hands-on person, really. It sort of gradually crept up slowly on my dad, I think, with dementia. One of those funny diseases that it's just little things that when you think back and you think, oh yeah, perhaps I didn't notice that at the time. The day my dad passed, myself, my husband and my daughter got called to the care home. He just passed just before I got there. I just missed him. And we sat there and the care staff were brilliant, and we had a cup of tea and a cup of coffee for my husband, and we sat there for about a good hour and just sat with him and talked about stuff, and it's almost like I got to say goodbye then. I do miss my dad a lot. Yeah, I do miss my dad a lot. I think about him every day. Because my mum and dad were both in care, everything they had went to the care bills. There wasn't anything left for the funeral for my dad. I'm the only person that works in my house. My husband has got a lifelong chronic illness, so he can't work. So I was in a bit of a difficult situation where I was thinking, am I going to cover this? Somebody told me about that you could apply for a funeral grant through the government, through the DWP. When I initially put the application in, I put it in my name. And I had a phone call from the DWP saying, oh no, it needs to be in your mum's name. Mum didn't even really know what day of the week it was at that stage. And I explained that Mum had got dementia. And no, that's fine, it needs to be in your mum's name. My mum had got vascular dementia, so my mum seemed to progress faster than my dad's. Mum's name was Pam. Mum was lovely, she'd do anything for anybody. Hard-working. If you asked her for the earth, she'd have given it you. She was just I know everybody's going to say that, but she was just a genuinely nice person, my mum was. My mum went into care first, and then my dad went into care, the same care home about a year later. I'd go and visit, and she wouldn't know who I was. And she'd ask me how Sue is, and I'd go, oh, yeah, it's fine. So it's a cruel disease, dementia, it really is. I put an application in my mum's name, and it turns out that my mum used to get pension credits alongside a pension, but because my dad had passed away, she had an uplift applied to her pension. They took the pension credits away and they wouldn't give her the funeral grant.
Funeral costs have skyrocketed, and it's now not uncommon for it to cost upwards of £4,000 to have a funeral with family and friends present. What if you don't have that money in the bank? The FEP is a vital source of support for those who can get it, but the eligibility rules don't focus enough on the person applying and the reason they have taken responsibility for the funeral and the costs. In most cases, they are the natural person to do this. Instead, the FEP's rules focus heavily on finding another relative who isn't getting a qualifying benefit to then declare that they should take responsibility. But that's despite the DWP not even assessing whether that other relative is able or willing to do so. Meanwhile, the person who has already taken responsibility is effectively told they shouldn't. This policy is having a devastating impact on bereaved people.
it caused stress for me and for my family as well. It was just panic mode, really, I suppose, because I thought, well, what am I going to do? I was concentrating on that, trying to sort that out. It's only sort of in the last couple of months that I've probably sat and had a bit of a cry about my dad. I'd had time to do that.
Sue reached out to Down to Earth, and we helped her to access charity grants towards the funeral costs. But many others struggle alone.
At Down to Earth, we hear far too many stories like Sue's, but it doesn't have to be this way. Scotland has a different payment to help with funeral costs, the funeral support payment. And because the eligibility rules are less restrictive, it's estimated that 40% more people can access it. We're calling on the government to bring the FEP in line with Scotland's system.
I don't know how they come to that decision, the difference between Scotland and England. I don't know how there can be so much of a difference. My dad would have been really upset to think that I'd been that upset that I couldn't find a way out straight away of the situation. You'd think that in your darkest, most desperate hour that there'd be somebody there to help you.
Let's take action together so that more people can afford a funeral for their loved one and have the space they need to grieve. Grief is hard enough. Fix the FEP.
Tell your MP why they should support our campaign. Write to them or arrange a meeting. Visit our campaign page at downtoearthsupport.org.uk. Share with the hashtags Grief is Hard Enough and Fix the FEP. A big thank you to Sue and to Peace Hub Birmingham.